How many of you have seen this article? There's been a couple of people talking about it. I wanted to leave it specifically for tonight. Let's talk about this because there's some very interesting stuff within this article. Blizzard 2.0 developer network makes games that Blizzard doesn't anymore. Former members of Blizzard, including the co-founder and chief executive officer, have created a network between their indie game studios. Former Blizzard employees are working on making games that the company won't make anymore. In the last few years, Blizzard has suffered from what could be considered a talent exodus. Hundreds of employees, including co-founder Mike Morhaime and ex-CEO Rob Pardo, have left Blizzard to form independent studios. Many who left the company are citing the culture change since Activision started overseeing operations at Blizzard as a reason. Not quite. This is a little bit, I think, misdirection and also might border on fucking lies. Many do not. In fact, some of them do say that the culture change is why they left, but many do not cite the culture change as a reason to leave, at least not from what I've seen. Activision merging with Blizzard has caused more problems than successes in the eyes of many. Several controversial choices have led not only to employees to leave, but loyal fans as well. I would say very few loyal fans have left the game. Diablo Immortal's infamous BlizzCon debut in 2018 was only just the start. If that wasn't enough, Warcraft 3 Reforged, much maligned launch in 2020 didn't help matters either. Furthermore, the latest financial report has shown that Blizzard has lost 5 million active players since 2020 and over 11 million since 2018 across its many titles. As reported by Bloomberg, ex-Blizzard developers are using their newfound creative freedom to make games their former company won't make anymore. The independent developers have spread out in Irvine, California. What did I tell you guys when we first learned of Dreamhaven? When we found out that Mike Morhaime is making Dreamhaven, specifically when we found out that he's making it in Irvine, California, I said, the fucker is literally building the exit street for Blizzard Entertainment. He's literally building the exit strategy. So as developers leave Blizzard Entertainment, they fucking walk straight into Dreamhaven. I called it all the way back then because it just made sense to me that he would do this. And now we're getting more and more of this. And there's actually some where they're, in the original article, they actually spoke to some of these developers. The independent developers have spread out in Irvine, California, where Blizzard's campus resides as well. Several studios, such as Morheime's Dreamhaven and Pardo's Bonfire Studios, have already announced their existence over the past year. Others, like Lightforge Games, One More Game, or Raid Base, have only recently formed. Each of the studios is working together to help produce its new games in what the gaming community is calling Blizzard 2.0. Bloomberg interviewed former Hearthstone director Ben Brody, who said, "We're all super friendly with each other. We're all trying to stay afloat, trying to do our best, help each other get there." Here is my big brain prediction. I think we are living in the final decade of AAA gaming. Is there anyone that disagrees with that? We've reached a point now where smaller game companies have so many options whenever they want to release their games that they can do pretty much anything, and those games will sell. Something like Steam, for example, is pushing basically every single indie company into the future. I foresee a future where instead of the gaming industry being controlled by 4, 5, maybe 6 massive corporations, that it's instead controlled by 2, 3, 4,000 smaller corporations that all bring out games of varying sizes. And there's a couple of reasons why I believe this. One of the things that was said, so let's continue reading because it actually says it in the next article. Brody is the founder of Second Dinner, a studio he created after leaving Blizzard in 2018. He and Morhaime are regularly collaborating with each other's studios. Brody believes that RTS games can make a return, but require smaller teams to do so. Very true. This lack of interest by Activision Blizzard is shared by giant game companies, choosing to focus on developing billion-dollar products, according to Tim Morton. Now, Tim Morton did say in the original article that this is one of the reasons he decided to leave Blizzard Entertainment. is because Activision Blizzard only want billion-dollar titles. They want the next Overwatch. They want the next World of Warcraft. They want the next Hearthstone. What they don't want is StarCraft 3. What they don't want is Warcraft 4. Because those will never be billion-dollar titles. Yes, they'll make money, and yes, they'll turn a profit. Because at the end of the day, if you wanted to make StarCraft 3, a development team of 30 to 35 people would be more than enough to make StarCraft 3. Right? If you wanted to do Warcraft 4, you could probably do it with, again, 20 to 35 people would be more than enough to actually make your game work, because it is an RTS. If you think about Blizzard and all of the freedom that Blizzard could have, they could do something akin to RimWorld and to Oxygen Not Included within the StarCraft universe or within the World of Warcraft universe, right? The Warcraft universe, not the World of Warcraft universe, but smaller titles that, yes, it's not going to turn into a billion-dollar game, but not every game has to turn into a billion-dollar game. If you have 10 games that makes $10-15 million, that's still a good amount of fucking money, right? And that's money that you can make almost every year, because you do get small indie companies that make a new game every single year because their games are far smaller, it's far more niche, and they know what they're focusing on. But this is not what these guys want. And a good analogy for this is in boxing, you oftentimes get this in certain fights where one fighter will start looking for the knockout punch, and you'll oftentimes hear the commentator say this, he's looking for the knockout punch, this is why he's struggling. Because the boxer will completely stop jabbing. He won't throw any jabs. He won't throw any body punches. He's literally just waiting for that big punch that's going to knock the other guy out. And usually that's the boxer that loses. Because the other guy is wearing you down. He's throwing jabs. He's throwing punches. He's releasing the smaller titles. He's releasing the StarCraft 3. He's releasing the Warcraft 4. He's releasing a smaller Diablo project that doesn't necessarily focus on the same things, but it is set in the IP, and it does help people get a little bit more of the IP that they're looking forward to. And at the end of the day, those are the companies that succeed. You see it. In my opinion, we see the end of AAA gaming fast approaching, specifically if I look at the amount of remakes that currently exist within the industry. Have you guys realized that the games that we're most excited for almost every single year for the last 3 years have been remakes? It's been a while since I've been excited for a new game to launch. Like, every single time I get excited, I'm excited because there's a remake of one of my favorite games that I can't wait playing, right? Because that used to be a good game. Now, I'll bring this back to Hollywood. Hollywood in its final death throes, and if you think Hollywood isn't dying, you've not been paying attention. Companies like Netflix is killing Hollywood at the moment. Why? Because they're far smaller. They have the ability to maneuver where Hollywood can't. So what ends up happening is, as an industry reaches the end of its life cycle, it will start recycling things, trying to reboot that former success, right? Trying to get people once again excited for the former successes that they've had before finally just sort of floating off into the fucking distance. Now, of course, Hollywood is still years away from its actual floating off moment, and the same can be said for the AAA industry. But I do not foresee a future where AAA gaming survives. I think too many of these companies are looking for the next big project, and they don't realize that big projects aren't actually made by developers. It's made by players. League of Legends wasn't made amazing by its developers. It was made amazing by the players. Players started picking up League of Legends and started playing against one another, started to put together sort of competitions in order to see who's the best in a specific region. And this eventually got picked up by Riot, who turned it into the LCS and the LEC that we have today, and the LCK and the LPL, right? But it had nothing to do with Riot. They didn't push the competition. The esports idea didn't come from them. It was born from players who just wanted to see who could be the best. The problem with all of these companies these days is every single one of them fights to be the next big thing, and they all keep missing. How many times? Okay, so Blizzard tried with Overwatch to really be big in the esports scene. They failed absolutely fucking miserably. I don't think I know a single person that watches the Overwatch League. And based on the viewer numbers that they get on the Overwatch League, sure, it's bigger than my channel, but that's not fucking hard. Considering the millions that they spent on the Overwatch League, it should be far bigger than what my channel is, right? And it's not that much bigger than my channel. So the Overwatch League died. The Heroes of the Storm League died. The only league that sort of existed for a very long time, again, is StarCraft. And again, because Blizzard weren't the ones who started the StarCraft esports. It was players who started to put LAN competitions together just to see who's the best. And Blizzard eventually capitalized on it. Now, granted, it's no longer as big as it used to be, but that's because it grew organically. The only thing Blizzard focused on is making a good game. And from that, it grew organically into something that people actually wanted to watch. The sad bit is that none of these AAA companies, Blizzard, Activision, EA, I don't think any of them will survive the next decade. As more and more indie developers stand up and more indie developers start gaining traction and start getting money, we will most likely see an exodus from the massive corporations that used to exist to smaller companies that can provide us with hours upon hours upon hours of actually incredible gaming experiences that these bigger companies just seem to fucking lack. They just seem to struggle. And when it comes to Blizzard Entertainment, my final thoughts on this is I think Blizzard is too big. I genuinely believe there is currently too many teams within Blizzard Entertainment that is trying to do too many things within Blizzard Entertainment. And this leads to every team trying to justify its own existence and therefore failing the fucking game miserably. How else do you describe it? How else do you describe Blizzard fixing problems that didn't exist? The only way this happens is because some fucking moron needs to justify the existence of his department, so now he's gonna start fixing fucking issues that doesn't exist. Why, thank you for the fix. We didn't really think that was a problem, but, you know, where would we be without you? Oh, we'd be having fun if it wasn't for you fixing the fucking game. So that's sort of the big issue that I have right now. Within World of Warcraft and within the AAA industry, Blizzard is gonna feel the pinch, especially with Dreamhaven. And I'll ask all of you in chat, how many of you in chat right now think that you're gonna play the first Dreamhaven game? Regardless of what it is. How many of you are looking forward to the first Dreamhaven? When I say Dreamhaven, I'm talking about all of those companies. So we're sort of blanketing all of those companies now. Every single one of the companies that comes from the Blizzard stock, if you will. I think all of us are gonna give their first game a try. And Mike Morhaime knew this. He fucking knew that as much as people loved Blizzard, a lot of us loved him. How many of you remember this?
Hello, friends and fellow gamers. Welcome to BlizzCon 2011. I can't believe this is already the 6th BlizzCon. How many of you have been to at least one BlizzCon? No way. Okay. I look forward to this event all year. It is so cool to be here with the most dedicated gamers in the world.
How many of you remember every single BlizzCon, Mike Morhaime standing on that fucking stage and talking to us, being as awkward as only Mike Morhaime can be, a proper fucking nerd that you see isn't used to speaking in front of people, but, you know, he still did it, and he was his ever charming self, and we all felt a part of that, right? Whenever he stood on that stage, he made us feel a part of that company. He made us feel as if this really is our convention. We are here, and we are a part of this. I think we all remember that. Mike Morhaime has his name to trade on, and he's gonna fucking do it. I'm guaranteeing you guys now, he's going to do it. Game and Hurt that we could relate to, exactly. Oh, and Metzen. Fucking Metzen with his whole, for the Horde, and everyone freaking out, for the Alliance, and everyone freaking out again. I remember those days with fucking Metzen. He used to be the opening act, and then Mike Morhaime would come up, right? Now everyone just charges the fuck up. Mike Morhaime steps to the stage, and we're all sort of ready for the speech. Now you have J. Allen Brack stepping on the stage, and everyone just going, oh my god, what the fuck are we paying for now? At the end of the day, I personally believe we are witnessing the end of AAA, and I'm excited for that, because I think we need smaller companies to make good games again. We need smaller companies to remind the big companies what good gaming is all about. Because at this point, it doesn't seem like the big companies have a fucking clue.